Welcome to another episode of the Bald Avenger Show. I'm Jason Sisneros, also known as the Bald Avenger, the tattooed guru, the purveyor of all things common sense. What else am I? The king of the misfit nation, baby, and a legend in my own mind. I'm also the founder and chairman of an organization called it's Anton J Global. Sorry, I've got two things I'm looking at here. Anton J Global, where we help good people make more money, get more time so that they can do more good. And that organization is somebody that you can look up, Anton, AntonJae.com. And but let's get right into the show tonight. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about, as you know, the title is how black and white and brown and whatever other color you want to come up with, how we can revolt ethically. Why would we want to revolt ethically? Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but the setup here, the number one premise for us as we see what's going on around us is that it feels like there's a revolution going on, right? And it feels it's kind of knocked the entire world off balance. Like we were doing one thing one day, and then the next day we woke up and you had COVID and we had race wars and we had, all of the different things that are going on out in the world. And as I've watched it, as I've navigated those waters, just like you guys, because nobody, the cool thing is that that we all have in common is that we're all experiencing something new together, right? Together. And it may not feel like we're together, but we're going to get into it just a little bit. I have to take a little sip out of, that my Cross's green tea to everybody. Cheers to everyone this evening from the Crosses. I was out with Pastor Rudy over the weekend, and we were doing the work that we do. And he said, Jason, one of the problems that we have in this world is that we no longer drink from the skulls of our enemies. So I'm drinking out of that cup this evening for kind of in his honor. But let's talk a little bit about revolution, right? If there's going to be a revolution, if there's something that is happening right now, and it seems like things are trying to reset themselves, trying to correct themselves, trying to create something new. A revolution, let's begin with that premise. A revolution is usually to create something new that is better, that it's improved. It's improved from the thing that it was before. It causes revolution. There's tension. Things start to get out of whack. You have too many people at the top and way too many people at the bottom. And that sort of feels, that's kind of what it feels like right now. Right. And so there's my love, Emily. Welcome to the show. What's up, Laura? Good to see you. But let's talk about that a little bit. Tonight I wanted to go in, how do you revolt ethically? Why ethically? Because at the end of the day, look, if you're going to throw a temper tantrum over something, is it about you or is it about the collective, right? And so this is where we get in. If it just is about you and your personal grievances, then you're going to see a disjointed, like a revolution is a group of people that come together around one singular idea and then they push it forward no matter their differences. And that's not really what's going on right now. What's going on right now is you have a splintered group of people that have individual grievances in their life. And I'm not going to be the person that sits here and tells you that any of them are wrong. Look, whatever somebody's experienced in their own life, I have in my life experienced, injustice, right? I have also experienced where I was uneducated, and I have also experienced where I was being selfish. Right. And so I look at the current situation and I'm always trying to put my arms around it so that we can improve the situation. That's what we're about here in Misfit Nation. Those of you that have not joined Misfit Nation on Facebook, the Misfit Nation page, it's free. Nobody sells there. It's just a group of human beings that align with the message that we're all on this earth to ease suffering. Right. So as we get into it and we start to talk about revolting ethically, revolution is about improving things. Is it about improving things for myself, or is it about improving things for the collective, right? And so as I went through some of the things that keep us poor, look, I look at poor, middle class is shrinking. Those of you that have heard my other shows before, you know that I feel like we've got a widening group of wealthy, and then our middle class is shrinking, and our poor is growing exponentially. And at the end of the day, that's a way of controlling people. Okay, so I don't disagree that we have to revolt every once in a while. I don't disagree even with the revolt the revolution that we happen to be going through right now. We are a group, we are an animal that demands progress. And over the history, even though there's been long periods of dark times, over the history of our time, we have progressed and improved things exponentially, really, for the collective, not just an individual group of grievances. And so as we look at that, I wanted to really address the idea that being poor or not having a stable base of finance or the hope. Look, here's the biggest part. If we don't have the hope that something can get better, that I can improve myself and that I can get better, like being born into classes back in the old days, right? If you were born into the wrong class, you had no chance of changing your stars, because at the end of the day, your birth determined your outcome. It determined where you were going to be when you died, and you just had to accept it and try to make joy out of the situation that you had. We don't live in that society anymore. If you decide that you want to apply the principles of success, of progress, if you want to apply those principles, then by God, you can do it, right? And the more that we shrink the middle class, the less that possibility exists for us in our own lives and for our children and for future generations. We just allow the rich to get richer, and we allow the poor to get poorer, and we destroy that thing called the middle class. And there's going to be something that I'm coming out with very, very soon, as soon as it gets through all the attorneys and the lawyers and everything. I can't wait to launch it alongside of the Slave Free Project. But so I want to talk about that tonight. How do we revolt ethically? We've got to do it ethically. It has to be about something bigger than us. And that starts, even though it's not about, if it's about the collective, it starts with the individual, right? If it's about the individual, then it starts with blaming and attacking the collective, right? It's a dichotomy. It's a weird dichotomy that we have to work through. And so I just wanted to come up with these points so that those of us, or if you happen to find yourself jobless right now in the current situation that we find ourselves, if you find yourself, your future not so solid, if you find yourself in a place of wondering what the hell is going on right now, where do I fit, what do I do, what are the things that I can actually implement in my life so that I, as the individual, can improve the collective? What's missing? What are the gaps? Where do I fit? What is my particular life experience? What is it armed me with to be able to take my game to the next level, and then to be able to leave this world a little bit better for other people? And that starts out with the knowledge that a revolution starts with you. Now, let's talk about some things that you can improve. If you're going to participate in a revolution and you're going to help the collective, and you're starting with the person in the mirror, then what are the things that we can do? What's the number one tool to keep you poor? What's the number one tool? It's called distraction. Okay? So number one that we have to talk about is, where are you being distracted? Are you being pulled and sucked into conversations that are not adding any value to anyone, and you're just fighting against someone that you're never going to change their mind, and they're never going to change your mind? It's distraction. Point number one is distraction. You have to figure out, what are the things that are in your life? Is it food that's distracting you? Is it booze that's distracting you? Is it, cigarettes or whatever it is, drugs? Is it sex? What is it that's distracting you? Because distraction pulls you away from this thing called discipline, right? This thing called discipline. Distraction is the opposite of discipline. And discipline is the thing that you have to exude or exhibit if you're going to be a part of a revolution that's going to improve the world. Number two, education. Okay? Number two is education. If we can get past the idea of distraction, and then what do I do? Okay, now Jason, got it, check. got it. I'm listening. I hear you, and I'm not going to distract myself. Now what do I do with all of that open space? What do I do with it? Right? And education is what you fill it with. Education of what? Look, whatever it happens to be. Those of you that know me, I know that when I get interested in a subject, I buy stacks of books, I download, I watch videos, I do all kinds of stuff. I throw myself into that vertical of knowledge, and then I merge it with my other knowledge base so that I can improve my situation. And then in improving my situation, I can then turn around and improve somebody else's situation, right? And so education, you have to commit yourself, fill that empty space where you were playing video games, or you were drinking, or you were watching television, watching other people, participating in their success, right? We've got a great opportunity right now with sports sucking as bad as it does for you to take that sports. If you were addicted to sports and not watching it and taking that time and educating yourself, this is the second step, is you've got to commit to the idea of educating yourself. Because if you don't, you're stuck. Wherever you are in your life, your physical abilities, your relationships, your happiness, your financial position, wherever it is, it's because of the education that you have to this point. And if you continue along with that same amount of education, you're going to continue to get the same outcomes, right? So 3, what's the third thing that you have to pay attention to if you're going to be a part of Revolution is who is your tribe, right? Step 3 is your tribe. Number 1 is distraction. Number 2 is education. Number 3 is who is your tribe? Who have you decided to put yourself in a group of? And if you look around your life right now, if you're listening to this now or 5 years from now on all the channels or wherever it ends up being, right? Where are you with your tribe? Who do you hang out with? Who's your best friend? If you investigate the conversations that you're having with your best friends in the circle of people that you happen to be hanging out with, who are these people? Okay, who are these people? And you'll start to see some similarities between you and them. If all you're hanging out with is broke people, guess what? You're going to be broke. Well, Jason, if I'm broke, if I'm poor, how do I get into the lives of people that may be a little bit more wealthy so that I can start absorbing? Because every moment that we're alive, and that means even when you're sleeping, your subconscious, your other than conscious is working underneath to be able to meet the outcome that you have predestined for yourself. And sometimes that was put there by our parents. Sometimes that was put there by a really dear friend. Sometimes it was put there by a horrific scenario. Sometimes it was put there by a good scenario. At the end of the day, you've got to figure out who you're hanging out with, because again, it's like one of those fortune cookies, right? Tell me who your closest 5 people are, and I'll tell you where you're going to be in 5 years, blah, 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 blah. And yes, there's so much power in that thought. But curating the group of people that you hang out with is so desperately important. Those of you in Misfit Nation, you know it. Those of you that aren't familiar with Misfit Nation, it's just a group of people that have come together. We all have one thing in common, or a couple of things in common, actually. One is that we've screwed up in life. Number 2 is that we're on our way back, or we've made it and we're reaching back and we're bringing people up, or whatever it is. But we're in it to ease suffering. Okay, so really look at your tribe, because that's who you're going to think like. Those are the results that you're going to continue to get. And number four. Okay, I'm gonna take a little sip as we go into number 4. I love drinking out of a sword cup. So number 4 is your future. Okay, if you're going to be a part of Revolution, if you are broke, if you're struggling, if your business is teetering, if you don't know if you're going to get a job, whatever that case may be, you have to get crystal clear. You have to take this moment, right? We have a process in all the companies that I've ever worked with, that I've owned, or that we consult with. And that process is figuring out with each employee as they're coming into the organization, what is it they want out of life? Not what do they want out of my company, but what do they want out of life? What is that destination? And we won't hire. If the answer is, I don't know, then we're not going to hire you, right? And you got to understand there's 2 levels of this. One is that you're so beat down emotionally and psychologically and physically. And it just seems like, man, somebody else has been blessed with all the good things, but I just keep getting my ass kicked. And that side of it where we kill that dream process in our mind. And how you know that you are in that boat is you're feeling that uncontrolled, that inability for you to be able to take your next life. You're filling it with things outside of you to make you happy, whether that's beer, whether that's a joint, whether that's a line of Coke, whether that's McDonald's, whether that's, eating food that you shouldn't. You're filling a hole, trying to fill a gap that is there because you've just killed or tamped down. You can never really kill it in the human spirit, but you've tamped down that thought process of what do I want out of my life? And you have no idea how sad it is. I'll sit down with people that have money, that don't have any money, that I meet on the road, or my Uber driver, or somebody that's serving me at a restaurant or whatever. And I'll ask that question: what do you want out of life? Why are you working here? If you're a server at a restaurant, why are you working here? Are you going to be here 10 years from now? Are you going to be here 5 years from now? And it's really interesting to watch people go internal as you ask that question, because you can see a lot of pain here. And this is why a revolution around selfish people will never work, right? Is because you don't dig in, you don't find out what the beating heart of their activity and their actions are. You have to dig in and find out. And in yourself, the best place for you to start is with yourself. So you've got that side of us that doesn't want us to dream. We don't want to say, what do we want our future to look like? Because we don't think we're worthy of it, because we don't think we're capable of it, because we think that the world has set itself against our success. Trust me, I've been there. You all know my story. If you don't, go back and watch episode 1 of the Bald Avenger show, where you'll find out everything you ever want to know about Jason Sisneros. Okay. And so you've got to get crystal clear in your future. What do I want it to look like? Right? Not because this is a switch, and it's a tough one, because you have to switch to desire and knowing that you want that thing out of life, that you are capable of that thing out of life. And you have to switch out of that old mode, which, if you're surrounded by people who make it okay to be weak, that make it okay for you not to perform, that make it okay for you to be the worst version of yourself, if you're around those people, there's a lot that is a big switch. It's a big divide to be able to jump. And I'm here to tell you that the Misfit Nation is here to help you jump that divide. We're all here to support you, to lift you up, to say, you know what, we'll make a human bridge so that you can get across this gap. Because the further that you get on the other side, the more warriors that we have to fight so that we can ease suffering, right? So you've got to get crystal clear about your future. If you're not, you cannot move towards something that you haven't defined. Somebody put that in the comments, please. You cannot move towards a destination that you haven't defined. Okay? I want somebody to put that in the statements. All right? Number 5. So number 1 is distraction. Number 2 is education. Number 3 is make sure that you have a tribe that is going in the direction, or at least moving forward, and not just complaining, whining, bitching, moaning, oh, it's the man, it's everybody else that's holding me down, blah, 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 right? That's not the tribe that's going to help you get there. Number 4 is the future. Number 5 is forgiveness. Okay? Number 5 is forgiveness. Forgive yourself. Forgive those people that have harmed you. No matter what has happened to you in your life, it's not happening right now. If it is, you reach out to me in a DM. You reach out to a New Dawn. If you're a woman that's trapped in her own home, you reach out to certain ministries. If you have a child that's been taken, whatever it is, if you are actually a slave, if you are actually a captive, being held captive, reach out to us. If you can hear my voice, reach out to us. There is an army of people out here that will come and get you. Okay? One way or the other, we will come and get you. Now, forgiving means that whatever happened to you in your past, it's not happened to you right now, but it helps us. It's a tool. Look, it's a tool for us to hold on to bitterness and so that we don't have to move forward. It's a benefit to us if we're in a spot where we're focused on the individual, on ourselves, in a way that is based in weakness. Okay, so forgiveness means that I have to let go of the reasons why I'm not as successful as I'm meant to be. I'm not as impactful, influential, wealthy, in great shape, have the friends that I need, have the people around me that I want, right? All of that comes with forgiveness, and it leaves, again, an empty spot. Now, something that all of these are going to have in common is that you're going to be a different person tomorrow or the moment after you make this decision. And here's what happens, guys. I've felt it over and over and over again. I mean, before I started the Bald Avenger show, before I did comedy for the first time, before I decided to put myself wholeheartedly both feet into philanthropy, right? Putting myself out into the public. There's this gap going, you know what? Even this misery, or not even misery, but this place of being stuck, it's comfortable for us. And as soon as you decide in your head, I'm going to move forward into that future, and now I have to forgive people, after every single one of the points I'm giving you tonight, there's going to be a gap of loneliness. There's going to be a gap of not understanding. There's going to be a moment where you go, I'm not doing that. I'm not capable of it. I can't, right? I can't do it, Jason. I can't. And if you know anything about my family, my children will tell you that can't is a swear word in our family. You ask, I mean, from my oldest child to my youngest child, they will say, they look at people when they say can't, and they get a little bit of a shocked look on their face because it's a cuss word, right? It is a cuss word in our family. Sisneros don't say can't. That's our saying, okay? So forgiveness is another place where you have to let go of a perceived, and I say perceived, but even if it was an actual, because again, remember what a misfit nation is made up of. Misfit nation is made up of people who have been raped, who have been hurt, who have had horrifying things done to them. And forgiveness is one of those things that sets you free, because your captor no longer has control over you. If it happened 10 years ago, if it happened yesterday, the faster that you can let go of those wrongs that were done to you, the faster you get rid of and snip the tie between you and that horrible scenario, or that horrible person, or that horrible time in your life, right? Whatever, if it was a day, if it was a moment, if it was years strung together, until you forgive that moment or that person. And more importantly, forgive yourself for the mistakes that you've made. We have people that have been to prison, that have been involved in drunk driving accidents and those kind of things, they didn't have to forgive somebody else. They had to forgive themselves. And that's a huge piece, right? That's a huge piece. So forgiveness is number 5. Number 6 is, once you get to this point and you have gotten rid of the distraction, you've committed yourself to education of whatever vertical that you need to educate yourself on. You've gotten yourself inside of the Misfit Nation or another tribe that fits you well. You have clearly identified what your future is. You've decided to forgive those that have harmed you. You've decided to forgive yourself for that path. The next thing that you have to do is you have to sell out. Now, this is a key point, okay? What does selling out mean? What does it mean to you? What does it mean to you to sell out? Think of anybody, and all I want you to do is think of who's the first person that pops into mind when you say they sold out to their new vision. They sold out to their commitment. They sold out to this new life, and Katie barred the door. They were just going after it. I want you to put their name in the box in here, in the comments. I want you to put their name. Who is a person that sold out? And I'm going to take a little drink while you do that. I'm going to say hi to a few people. What's up, Aaron? Good to see you. What's up, Fatima? I saw Kimberly Lechnick's in the house. Who else is in here? I saw a few other people. I saw, who did I see? Tracy Porterfield. Are you kidding me? Good to see you, love. I thought I saw Casey on here. Yep, there she is. Hi, Casey. Good to see you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm glad you're all here. And So who is it? What's that name? Who pops to mind when you think about somebody that sold out to their vision? Somebody that decided to stop eating incorrectly. They started to work out. They started a new job. They started to whatever it was, right? They got a divorce. They got married. They decided to stop doing drugs. They decided to stop drinking. Whatever it was, who comes to mind when you think of the words sold out? And as you think about that person, right? As you think about that person, thank you, Aaron. Aaron says my name pops to mind. 100%. 100%. Jennifer asked what was in my tea. It's green tea. It's green tea with a little bit of sweet cream and a little bit of honey. So sold out, right? When you commit, once you've gotten through this, some of the things that are going to fill those gaps, right? You're going to gotten rid of distraction. Now there's a gap. I have to overcome that. I'm educating myself. I don't understand the words. Like, I've decided to go down this path. I don't understand the phrases, the psychology. I don't understand, like, blah, blah, blah. And there's this feeling of when you leave the place that you're stuck, right? When you leave the place that you're stuck, and you're moving forward, that gap shows up. And unless you're sold out, right? I put sold out after you're knowing what your future is, because if you don't know what your future is, what are you going to sell out to? Right? If you live, look, the thing I get goosebumps when I think about this. You live in a time of uncertainty. You live in a time of recreation, of rebirth, of revolution. You live in the time right now that you can create whatever it is that you want. Because where there's uncertainty, there's opportunity. Somebody write that down. Where there's uncertainty, there's opportunity. And if fear is in your life, if you're not educating yourself on these 7 points that we're talking about tonight, then what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You don't know. You're going to sit there and once again, you're going to be caught up in the stream of somebody else's commitment. Somebody put that in the comments. You're going to get caught up again in the stream of somebody else's commitment and what they decided they were going to do, okay? So selling out is something that I take very, very seriously. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care the pain. I don't care the sacrifice. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And that's being sold out, okay? Number 7. This is the most important part, and you guys have heard it. If you've been around me in Misfit Nation, which that's your logo behind my head there, right? Misfit Nation. If you are part of Misfit Nation, number 7 will not be unfamiliar to you. It is serve. This is the glue that ties all commitment and success together. If you're not serving, it is an empty success. If you don't have a family, like I feel my Misfit Nation is my family. If you don't have, and plus I have my family, I have my kids, I have them, I have the people that are in my life that are that are my people, right? If I'm not serving them and I'm looking for everybody else to serve me and to meet my needs and pay attention to me and feel bad for me and all this other kind of stuff, you're not in service, right? You're not in service. Hi, Wanda. Good to see you. What's up, Coach Chuck? And at the end of the day, here's where we are. You have to serve. So if we're going to revolt, are we in service of someone else? Now, as you look at the world that's around you, are people serving themselves or are they serving their community? You tell me, right? As you see that. So number 1, distraction. Number 2, education. Number 3, tribe. Number 4, future. Number 5, forgive. Number 6, sell out. Number 7 is service. And those are the 7 steps. If we're going to revolt, like, think about this. I'm starting my own personal revolution. You just want to think that way, right? You just want to think that way. And so, and I'm going to do, because again, my team, they say, Jason, if you're going to do a rant, do it in the rap, right? Do it in the rap. And I have some stuff I want to rant about tonight, but I think we have to take a little bit of a commercial break, and we have to talk about the things in the stuff. So let's talk a little bit about this, and then we're going to come back and we're going to wrap these 7 points together in a really powerful way of what we can do as we move forward. All right. So I just want to, I want to talk to you guys a little bit. We talked about, if you want to move yourself out of poverty, then education is your biggest piece. I built the world's best way of understanding business in a program called Growth, Mastering Your Business G-Spot. It's 12 sessions of a masterclass on business from somebody who didn't graduate high school, and now I am turning around businesses and hired and brought in and speak to people from Wharton School of Business, Yale, Harvard. They bring in this misfit, right? This kid that didn't graduate from high school that nobody thought was going to go anywhere. And I put in the 20 plus years of my education into one lump sum into a program called Growth, How to Master Your Business G-Spot. Now there's other programs on there. Here's a link. Anton J, get in the game. If you want to change your financial position, if you own a business, if you work for a business, if you have a job, doesn't matter. If you want to play the game, you better damn well understand the rules. And these are the rules and the secrets that the wealthy don't want you to know, right? We talked about this a couple weeks ago on my show, is that we're given the book of life and we control people through education. We start telling them what to think instead of teaching them how to think. And in that book of life, they've ripped out, the fifth chapter. If you're poor or you're struggling or you don't understand money or you don't understand business, they've ripped out a vital chapter because that's how the gap keeps getting bigger. All right. I'm excited because I'm spitting all over myself, but they've ripped that out. I've put it back in. Okay. That's my programs, and look at it and do it if you want to. If you don't, no big deal. Now, service, we talk about service. Those of you that know, I run out. We do undercover missions to retrieve abducted children that are being trafficked for sexual purposes. And I just got back. In fact, today, all I did was sleep, y'all. Whenever I come back from one of these missions, it's emotionally draining. It's physically draining. It's hard work. And CERT Ministries, led by Pastor Rudy, an ex-Force Recon Marine, and other ex-law enforcement, and we always joke that I'm the only criminal on the team, and so this is a group of people that do the hard work, right? That get in there. They've gotten rid of distraction. They've educated themselves. They have a tribe. They are part of our tribe, Misfit Nation. You've met them. If you've gone to our live event that we do once a year, that's going to be, I'm going to be announcing that, by the way, pretty soon. Then you get to meet these people. You get to know them. You get to know their heart. And it's your donations and your support financially, emotionally, praying for them while we're out on missions and in dangerous places and kicking down doors and taking down bad guys and doing whatever we need to do. Because if it was my daughter, that's how I look at it. That's how Pastor Rudy looks at it. That's how his wife Lori looks at it. That's how his daughter Cece and Maddie look at it. And they look at it like that's their kid, and they put their heart and their soul into these rescues. And then the CERT Ministries, search, evangelize, rescue, and train. That's what CERT stands for. Evangelize is that when a child is pulled out of trafficking, there's a large possibility, in fact, a 94% or 96% chance of them going back into the lifestyle if they've been inducted and drugged and their minds have been twisted into the fact that that's the life that they have to live. They go back, right? People that go through the CERT Ministries and they're connected to these people, all you have to do is get around them, right? All you have to do is get around them because they lead with love. And all the people that are in darkness are looking for is for somebody to inject love into their life. So please support CERT Ministries and be paying attention because we have a march. And again, going back to that selling out, I decided one day that I was going out watching all these marches and cities burn down over things that I don't technically agree with. And I said, you know what? If it's me and a sign, I'm going to have a protest. August 15th in Salt Lake City, right? Go to the Slave Free Project page and you'll be able to see the location at 7 p.m. We're all gathering at the steps of the courthouse, and then we're going to march, right? We're going to have a march. We're going to have a protest. And if it's me and just me and a sign, then so be it, because I'm sold out to leading with love and doing something about the scourge of trafficking. Okay. What else we got here? Boost your immunity. This is obviously a good time. Go to ogsupplement.com. Check out the supplements. Those of you that want to make some money, you don't have a ton of money to start your own business. This is a great little company. I take the vitamins myself. They swab your cheek, take your DNA, and then and there's like a quadrillion amount of combinations that make you and your DNA, and your nutrition is set to that. I'm saving like $600 a month on taking their vitamins. So look it up, check it out, do what you do, Misfit Nation. Okay, let's get all that out of there. Oops, what did I do? Wrong one. Where is it? This one? There we go. Okay, it's gone. It's gone. So let's get into the wrap, y'all. Thank you for hanging through that. These are the things that we do, the things that we offer for you to be able to advance your own life, all right? So now let's go through the wrap. Let's talk about the wrap. The wrap for today is the idea of revolution. And what I would love for you guys that are listening to this, that you share to your own audiences, the people that listen to this afterwards on iTunes, on iHeartRadio, wherever you're hearing my voice, or you're seeing me on YouTube, or wherever it is that you're seeing, commit to a personal revolution in your own life so that you can improve the collective, so that you can improve the lives of the people that are around you, because it's the only one that's going to stick. It's the only one that I believe that is going to be resourced by the universe, by God himself, is that if you're improving the lives for other people, and if you're improving yourself for the purpose of service, that you will be resourced in ways that will blow you away. Pastor Rudy's told me so many times when he gets a call on the phone and they don't have any money in the bank, he's got $5 in the bank account, and he gets a call that says, we know where my daughter is, and she might be in Las Vegas and he's in LA. And he just jumps in the truck, he puts out a call, he says, help guys, I need help. Without enough gas to get, he might have enough gas to get there, but not enough to get back. He may not have enough to have a hotel room to be able to do the rescue. He may not have enough money to be able to eat while he's there. And somehow, because he's sold out, because he's committed, is the resources always show up, because that is who he is. Right? And that's what that I want you to leave tonight, is that a revolution of progress always starts with the person in the mirror. And we're going to wrap that up, right? We're going to wrap that up. Number one was distraction. Get the distraction out of your life. Number two is education. You've got to educate yourself in whatever it is that you're passionate about. Three, change and curate your tribe so that you are around the people that will lift you up, call you on your shit, and help you through your rough times, as you will help them through theirs. This is not a selfish endeavor, but everyone needs a hand every once in a while. Everyone needs an ear to listen to. Number four, get clear, crystal clear on your future. Number five, forgive others that have done damage to you, and forgive yourself for anything that you may have done in your life. Number six, sell out. And number seven, serve, right? How many of you are sick and tired of hearing the phrase, during these challenging times? If you're sick of it, put a 5 in the comments, right? I saw somebody do that online the other day, and I thought that was kind of cool. If you are sick to death of that phrase, during these uncertain times, during these challenging times, right? Every time I hear it, I think to myself, when throughout the history of mankind has there not been a challenging time? We have periods of time when we look in our lives and we go, there was a pause, maybe there was a period of an oasis, but remember that the purpose of life is to beat yourself down, to beat yourself into submission so that you're advancing, right? Wherever I go, try me. I asked Pastor Rudy for this verse out of the Bible that he was talking about. I don't have it tonight, so I'll post it later on. But where it was basically saying, look, try me. I'm going to consistently and constantly put myself in times of challenge instead of trying to avoid them. We live in a world that people are trying to avoid. Oh my God, I don't want that coming at me. I don't want this. I don't want that. And so what happens is it ends up stacking and stacking and stacking on top of you because you've not decided to overcome, to be a warrior and to crush through the wall that is in front of you called a challenge. You've decided to just go ahead and ignore it, right? Or put it off, or imagine that it's not there. Can you imagine that there's still people that are sitting around going, COVID isn't happening, right? It didn't happen. Sorry, 50 million jobs lost, 100 plus million, 1,000 people that are dead. You've got all these things that are happening. Yes, it happened. Is it being used for control? Is it being used to divide us? Absolutely, right? Both things can be true. And at the end of the day, it set us off, right? And collectively, we all said during these challenging times, everybody watching this, if you're a member of Misfit Nation, you have consistently had challenging times in your life. You have consistently had to overcome them. You may be in a place where you've been putting it off, where you've been putting it aside, and you're feeling the weight of the idea that you got to brush it off your shoulder, that you got to step forward, that you got to take that momentum and start implementing these 7 steps into your own life. But that takes courage. It takes courage to look inward, to say, I'm going to face me in the mirror and I'm going to beat the weakness out of every cell of my being. I'm going to beat fear out of it. I'm going to beat jealousy out of it. I'm going to beat holding grudges. I'm going to beat all of that stuff out of me so that all that's left is a fine-tuned, when you watch somebody that makes swords, right? From my cup, they beat that thing down until it's shiny, until it's sharp. And we are not doing that. We're not being called to do that. What we're being called is to jump on the victim train. That's the leadership that we have. It's like, do you want to be on this victim train or this victim train? Oh, I can identify with that victim train. So you jump in there and all you're doing is becoming a rusty piece of metal that will eventually fade away into nothing that never improved or was a warrior to do anything. You've got to beat yourself into submission. Right? You've got to go to the gym when you don't want to. You've got to eat that food. You've got to invest into nutrition. You've got to invest into education. You've got to invest into other people. You have to call other people and say, how can I pray for you? What can I do for you? How can I serve? Because that beats you into submission. And we don't live in a world that's calling people to that higher version of ourselves. We see people running around with their grievances everywhere. And it's creating weakness everywhere. So here's what we've got to do as a group, especially Misfit Nation. If you're a member of Misfit Nation, then this is non-negotiable. Is that you've got to put these 7 pieces, these 7 steps, these 7 suggestions, and they have to become non-negotiable. I will eliminate distraction. I will educate myself. I will sharpen my tribe. I will bring people into the tribe to Misfit Nation. I will do what I need to do. I will be clear about my future. I will forgive myself. I will forgive other people. I will sell out to whatever cause it is that I believe that I was born to be implementing in this world. I will serve at the highest level. If the world needs a warrior, here I am. That's you. That's me. That's this tribe of people. This weekend, again, every single mission that I go on with Pastor Rudy and CERT Ministries and the boys and the ladies that are all part of that mission, I'm reminded when we're out doing the work that we do. I don't talk about it here. I talk about it in my live events. Those of you that know me personally, I talk about it. But it's heartbreaking. And we have to be happy warriors when we see the devastation. And I'm talking about in the individual. The devastation, that poverty, that a lack of being loved, that being taught what to think or told what to think instead of how to think. The absolute sadness that you can see in the eyes of someone who's given up in this world. And then to see them pulled out of that scenario and put in a truck with Cece or with Maddie or with Lori or with Pastor Rudy, and to have them pray with them and have them put their arms around them, or have Big Mike London tell a girl, baby girl, people you don't know have been looking for you. We love you. And to see the tears of joy and the tears of appreciation to hear somebody say the words, I love you, and feel it so deeply in your soul that it breaks apart that scar tissue on your heart, to love so deeply that you get over yourself, that you see that when you overcome these things, when you implement these 7 steps, when you work on yourself, it becomes less and less and less about you, because now you're beating into submission a beast of service. You want your skill sets to improve so much so you can do more, because it becomes an addiction to serve and lift up other people, so that you can be that light that just goes into the eyes of darkness in the individual who's given up hope, whose heart and soul and spirit has been broken by another human being that decided to use them because of their own brokenness and darkness. And you're the fire, you're the spark that looks into their soul and they feel you. And maybe for the first time in their life, or for a very long time, when somebody says the words, I love you, they realize that's all I've been looking for. You, my family, are the light in the darkness. We as a collective tribe, as a family, are here to serve and to lift up. That's our job. It's not about us. Never has been, never will be. I want to show up at the gates of glory and have God say, well done. That's my only goal from here on out. I hope it's yours. Hope you have an amazing week. I'll be back here on Sunday, just like always. Share this message. And I love you, Misfit Nation. I love you. Thank you to everybody that's listening to these messages, that's sharing it out, that's helping the Bald Avenger message get out, that's helping open doors, that is helping us to reach into places that we never would have been able to without you and your support. Thank you. See you next week. Peace.